Hello everyone, welcome again to the channel. I want to talk to you about a few news, international news mostly. So the first one, I think it is good news. Turkey decided to host the Gymnastic Summit after Norway refused to allow Russians and Belarusian athletes from participating. So the International Gymnastics Federation confirmed that this Congress was to take place originally in Norway, but Norway refused to allow athletes from Russia and Belarus, so the International Gymnastics Federation decided to reassign it, and Turkey accepted. And I think this is good news. The Congress will take place in November 11 and 12 in Istanbul. Apparently, last year this Congress was also in Turkey, but the last year it was in the city of Antalya. So I think this is what every country should do. Leave politics aside and stop with this stupid tendency of trying to cancel Russian culture over the situation in Ukraine, which is plain hypocrisy. And this has been shown. I think most Western powers, they have shown their true face. They know that they are out to destroy Russia. So it's not just a supposition, it's not a theory, it's not a conspiracy anymore. They just have plainly said it in front of everyone to see. So then they complain about the fact that the global South doesn't agree with their stupid policies. So now we see why this is the case. And this is a very interesting story. It's about Ukraine. Apparently, the so-called game changer HIMARS artillery system, which is a multiple launch rocket system, is having some problems because it's something I mentioned in detail in previous episodes, but the situation is like this. You have an artillery system, whether it's rocket propelled or not, you need to be able to acquire targets. So there are different ways to acquire targets. For example, they can use satellites, different countries, if they have satellites, or they can use, now more recently has become more common to use drones. But basically what happens is also the way this targeting system works. If they are using GPS, GPS is one of the systems that is being currently jammed. So Russia has electronic warfare countermeasures that are jamming GPS signals. This has been repeatedly reported that Russia has this capability. So even if they get a target, whether it is through a satellite or through a drone, if the GPS jamming system is active, they won't be able to effectively use it. So that's one reason why they might not be able to acquire targets as effectively as they would like to, or maybe they don't have real-time information from the United States about targeting, or they just don't have enough drones. Like I reported also before, the anti-air systems that are present currently in the Donbas region, these systems are able to destroy many of the Ukrainian drones. So then Ukrainian drones cannot go very far from the front line before being destroyed. So they cannot acquire targets effectively, and no matter how effective this HIMARS system is, if they don't have an effective way to actually target specific objectives, specific places, it won't produce any significant effect in the battlefront. So that is the current situation. Is actually nothing new, but they are kind of bringing it up to the media's attention now. So this confirms something that I already reported before. And this new is also not very encouraging. As you know, Venezuela's president Nicolas Maduro had the country's gold reserves confiscated by the United Kingdom because the United Kingdom decided to recognize as a legitimate president of Venezuela Juan Guaido, which was never even elected. So this is again some kind of fraud representation from the Western powers, because most Western powers are recognizing Juan Guaido even though there is no legitimacy to the claim, and they basically confiscated the country's gold reserves. United Kingdom is doing this. And then you see again one more example of why the global south is walking away from the hegemony of the United States and its allies, because it's completely unfair. It's just basically not even following their own rules. They're breaking every legal precedent for this, and this is why you see Venezuela coming closer to the BRICS, coming closer to Russia, coming closer to Iran and many other countries, because there are no reasons to make deals with the Western powers. No, there is no incentive for this. You are going to have your country's reserves, whether it's gold or any other commodity, confiscated. So that's the current situation. And this last news comes from Belarus, where the ambassador to the United Kingdom, the Belarusian ambassador, was withdrawn because of the United Kingdom unfriendly steps. So they have been subjecting Belarus and Russia to probably equal amounts of sanctions to both companies and officials and all kinds of places where they're trying to actually target even the economy and the media of Belarus. And of course, Belarus is a smaller country, so it is more affected by the sanctions than Russia is. So at this moment, I think the alliance between Belarus and Russia is also becoming closer without any surprises here. However, the Belarusian officials said that the diplomatic relations will continue. They will be just downgraded because the ambassador will no longer be present there. So it will be just a representation, diplomatic representation, but it will not have the ambassador present. And they continue to say that they are willing to continue having diplomatic ties with the United Kingdom, but there are not many incentives to have this at the ambassador level. So this is the latest. Let me know what you think about all this news. And as always, I want to remind you of the possibility to support my work through donations. In the description of every episode, I include information about different platforms you can use to support me with donations. If you want to, you can also support me by liking this episode, sharing it in social media, and subscribing. I hope to see you again very soon. Thank you for watching this episode.